Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. Welcome to another meeting of TV Holics Anonymous. My name is Ruru and I am a TV holic. And as you might have guessed, again, if you are an avid listener of this podcast, of the TV Holics Anonymous podcast, that Mimi has not been reviewing any of these episodes of Choo-ry with me. So she will not be here once again. But like I said, I will try and convince her to do these episodes, watch these episodes with me, as she did see Choo Sung-hoon on Physical 100. We'll also do a review of Physical 100 as well, because that was a great show. And I heard that they're remaking Physical 100, but they're doing a US version with like US athletes, pro athletes, and like other top sports people in the country. And I just think that's going to suck, because the attitude that the Korean athletes had was, well, I know it's going to be a lot different to the Americans. Americans just want to crush each other, and they're very aggressive. And I feel like the Koreans were like so much better, like the camaraderie and like the respect, and like they also had like a lot of like they wanted to win and stuff like that, but it was more about like I don't know how to explain it, but it was more like, elegant and graceful and very respectful, unlike what I think the American version would be like. So I'm not really looking forward to that. I will like dabble in it, I guess, because it is going to be on Netflix, but yeah, I digress. So let's go on with this. So this episode of Choo-ry is episode 15 of the first season 1. Choo-ry or Die, I believe it's called, and this episode is It's Safe Outside the Blanket, brackets, Daesung. I don't know if I'm saying his name right or not, the guest. So today, again, they didn't, not today, but, in this episode, again, they did not have the previous host. I forgot his name, but the host that was there in the other episodes of this season, but instead they had Kim Jae Joong, and he's a K-pop idol, and I believe he's from, let me just get my notes up about him again. He's from the group T something, I think. Where's his wiki? He's from the group. Just bear with me a second while I find his wiki page. So he's from a bunch of different groups like TVXQ, JYJ, and JX, and SM Town. So yeah, he's been a K-pop idol for like a hot minute. So he's had a lot of experience in the industry, and I believe he's done like emceeing before, so he's like hosted things before, and he's had a lot of TV experience, a lot of TV opportunities. So yeah, so I think he does make a good host. I think the first episode, which was the one that he was on with Isuji, that one, I feel like he was very nervous. That was the first probably time that he was working with Choo Sung-hoon, and it was very like, it was shaky, I guess. That's how I want to explain it. I think he was scared of like getting low kicked or like beaten up in some capacity by Choo Sung-hoon. It was interesting. So anyway, let's get back to this episode. This episode Chu Sung-hoon and Kim Jae Joong are not interviewing, but the person that they've got on the show today on this episode, on episode 15, season 1, episode 15 is Daesung. I think I'm saying that right. It's Daesung. And he is a K-pop idol as well. And I believe he is from the group Big Bang and YG family. So yeah, Big Bang I think is what he's most known for. And yeah, so they had him on. He said that he's an introvert. And so basically they started the show and it was the two hosts, and then they saw like a bunch of people coming, and it was basically their son with his management and his security coming, and he had bought them like these kind of like camping fishing chairs to sit on. So all three of them had like these chairs to sit on, and they were just chilling outside like park area kind of thing, opposite like right outside Han River, which is a famous like picnic spot area, I believe, in Seoul, South Korea. And like you always see it in all the K-dramas, like people going to like eat there, or like, like families going there, like people going on dates there, like friends meeting up there, people go like just get like ramyeon. Again, I hope I'm saying that right. Correct me, guys, if I'm not saying anything right. And before we continue, can you guys subscribe to the pod? Also, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok and Twitter and all that stuff. So like find us there as well. So back to it. So they're outside, and basically Kim Jae-jong, they're like in the the chyrons, in the things that written about, the little subtitles written about people. Not subtitles, when they have those words on the screen in Korean, like saying stuff. Basically, they wrote that he is an extrovert, and they wrote that their son is a introvert. So they came to that conclusion by the fact that their son said that he just never really goes out. He likes to just stay at home. He's like a homebody, and he prefers like the creature comforts of staying indoors and staying at home. And he rarely like ventures out. He really doesn't like go out on his own accord, kind of thing. He'd prefer to just stay indoors and like chill out at home. So they were like, when you're with like your girlfriend or like your ex-girlfriend, like who do you like, what do you guys do? So he was like, oh, we just like hang out at home. And they're like, what else do you do? And he's like, watch TV. And they're like, what after that? And he's like, eat, order food and eat. And then again they press him, and he's like, oh, then we watch a movie. And then they press him again. Then he's like, oh, I just go to sleep. And they're like, oh, so what do you do before you go to sleep? And they were like laughing and giggling about that. They're basically trying to, talk about like the hanky panky stuff. But they obviously didn't get any of that out of him. So then I believe, again, I don't know if I'm getting this right in chronological order, or I'm like skipping anything. It's because I watched it like a few hours ago and I was meant to recap it straight away, but I had some other things to do. So yeah, everything's not really, might not be in like order, or it might not like, my recollection might not be very good, or I might skip a few things. So if I do, comment and let me know what I've skipped, what you thought I said wrong, and like correct me whenever I get something wrong. Like I always say, like constructive criticism is always good. You always do better when you learn from people, and like I'm no expert 'cause I'm not Korean, so like I'm like trying to like learn bits and pieces about what I'm doing wrong and saying wrong. So yeah, any correction would be great. Anyway, again, I'm digressing. I know I keep going off on these tangents, and you guys are here to like listen to the episode recap basically. So yeah, so after that, they decide to do like they're just talking about like how he's saying that he doesn't have a girlfriend, and the last time he had a girlfriend was like before he was in the army, went to the army, and then when he got discharged, like he doesn't have anyone. He did not doesn't have anyone. He's been single ever since. And it's hard for him to meet new people because he's always indoors and stuff. And then I don't know how this came up, but Kim Jae Joong was basically like their song should try getting a low kick by uh Chu Sung Hoon, and then basically their song was like, oh well, I think people are acting. They're not like they're just putting it on. It can't be that bad. It can't be as bad as like everyone's like claiming it is because people it looks so fake. People look like they're just like throwing themselves on the ground. So then Chu Sung Hoon was like, yeah, no, they were like excited that he was having that reaction. They were both like rearing up for him to like keel over. So he basically Chu Sung Hoon was like, yeah, it's probably not that bad. It's not that I'm only doing it at 20% capacity. So he was ready and he took the kick and he keeled over and it was like really painful. So he hobbled back to his seat. Then they decided, I guess, I think this was when they decided to like try something. So they said like Kim Jae-jong said that have you guys ever interviewed anyone? And they were both like no, like randomly gone up to anyone and interviewed anyone off the street and they were both like no. So he was like, "Oh, I've had some experience doing this and let's try it." And so then he went off and went up to a couple that was sitting behind them underneath a tree, and they were first they before they went like before he went to like approach them, he was like, oh, I'm gonna approach that couple, and then their song was like they look like they've been like they're like part of the cast, like have they been like planted there, like are they part of the cast or what? And everyone was like, no, they're not, they're just like random people that are there. So Kim Jae-jong went to approach that couple, so they brought them over. They agreed to come over, and it was basically a young couple. So they came over and they sat down on the chairs, and they interviewed them. And it was basically a young couple. They were both at university students. One went to a women's university, and the other went to, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think it was Korea University or the University of Korea or something like that. And yeah, so they were asking how they met, and he said that he met her at a mixer. And yeah, I think that was it. I don't know if they did a low kick. Did they do a low kick on him? Can't recall if it was him or not. Um, maybe they did. I know they did. Okay, right. No. No, I don't think they did a low kick on him. Okay, so basically they said that he said he was 21. They're both exactly the same age. They're both 21 and they're both like studying at university. And then they kind of like realized that they were like they just had like a sudden realization that they're all very old. Everyone sitting there was like over 30 and these guys were like very young, and they asked them about uh like if they knew who they were and stuff and who they're fans of. So basically they said that they're fans of um Daesung and Chu Sung Hoon. They watch Chu Sung Hoon's YouTube, and Daesung they like the girl said that she is a I believe it was her that said this, that she was a member, had membership or something of his fan group membership, or Big Bang's fan group membership, something like that. Also, they talked about, I don't know when this was chronologically in the episode, but they talked about how how much they make he makes their song. Like basically, they were saying, "Oh, you must be making at least 10. I think it was 100 million won a year or something like that." And he was like, no. And then they were like 80, and then he was like, no. There's a lot of people in the crew. And Kim Jae Joong said that but have been on so many like world tours and stuff like that. You definitely must be making that. And he was like, but there's so many people on our crew, so the money gets split up between everyone, and I'm really not that rich, basically. So I don't know if that was a humble brag or if that was true or what, but God knows what the split is between like if there's a lot of people working in a production company and like security and like makeup artists, hair people, um stylists and like everyone organizing things, and I'm sure that the split gets like people get like I don't think they make as much as we all think they make, like pop stars and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure that he wasn't lying. Also he was talking about Daesung was talking about how he puts like on a kind of persona. Like he said, like 20% of me is like a persona because like I'm genuine like right now, but like everyone like puts on a bit of persona. And then they moved on to Chu Sung Hoon, and he asked him, "What are you like 100% genuine?" And basically he was like umming and ahhing about it, Chu Sung Hoon, and basically came out with saying that yeah, like I think everyone to a certain extent puts up kind of like a front, like a persona, and they're not like 100% themselves, just like to protect yourself a bit, basically. You're not like 100% authentically yourself because, um, you want to keep a bit of yourself private, if you know what I mean. And also, it can be risky, like being yourself. You might be like offensive to others, or like not offensive, but some people might not like the like 100% you, and they might think it's different from what they've seen before, and like the persona that they imagined in their minds of you. Like fans might have like a different image of you, and you might crush that, and they might, it just might mess with the brand. Basically, I think that's what he was trying to get at. But he also didn't want to Chu Sung Hoon didn't want to come across as not being genuine, because I do feel like on his YouTube videos and on this show, he is pretty genuine. I think what you see is what you get, and he's not like calculating a lot in and things like that. He doesn't have like ulterior motives and things like that. Like, obviously, to a certain extent, everyone has like a motive to do things, but I feel like he doesn't have like cruel intentions, or he's like not out to get people and things like that. I feel like it's like very like genuine and authentic. And he's just like genuinely talking about the things he likes, like the food and things like that. I'm talking about his YouTube channel, and even on this show, try Choo-ry, he is like very like just what you see is what you get kind of thing, and rolling with the punches, no pun intended. But he's just like getting to know people and like having fun with it. He's not taking it too seriously, he's not taking himself too seriously, he's not taking the guests too seriously either. It's just very like natural. So yeah, that's what I like about this show. It's very funny and like very light and very just entertaining and kind of like mostly genuine, I feel. So anyway, back to what they were talking about. So then they invited, then the next person to go up was Chu Sung Hoon, and Kim Jae Joong said, "Oh, look, there's a bunch of like women sitting over there. Like, why don't you? It's your turn now. Why don't you ask them?" So Chu Sung Hoon was like, "Oh, let me grab you, their song, and take you with me to ask them." And he was like, "No, no, you have to do it by yourself. Go on, you can do it. You're an MMA fighter. Basically, you can do it." Like, it's giving him like, encouragement. So Chu Sung Hoon went up to them, and basically they were like, oh, making fun of the way he walked up there. They were like, can you not walk like a loan shark up to there? Walk kindly. You're looking like way too aggressive. The walk is like giving like um loan shark. Um like you're gonna go beat them up or something, like walk a bit more kinder. So then he put his hands together and walked like really like sweetly, or like really timidly, or like I just don't know how to explain it properly, but that's how he walked um to the women who were sitting down on the picnic mat and they were eating. So then he kind of like crouched over and like kneeled down, and apparently that is a respectful way in like Japan of like meeting people and talking to them, or like something like that. I didn't really understand the concept, but also they were saying like that's a kind of thing that judokas do as well. It's like from his judo training, I believe something like that as well. So it's a mixture of both the Japanese culture and judo. So that was pretty interesting. So then he was talking to them and he asked them, would it be okay if I could we could interview you guys because we're doing this show. And they agreed. And when he went over, basically they said, "Oh, hi, we're fans of yours." And basically when they sat down with all three of them, they kind of said that they were Big Bang fans as well. So they're fans of Daesung, and they also watch a lot of Choo Sung-hoon's YouTube channel, and they love that. They also would, so they asked them like, "Are you like dating anyone? Do you guys have boyfriends?" And they all said, "No, we're all single." And then they were like, Kim Jae Joong was like, "Did you guys think that like feel like you wanted to come here because you might like bump into someone or like make a love connection kind of thing at the at Han River?" And one of the girls was like, "Yeah, I actually did think that would happen." So that was quite interesting. And then they went on to talk about how um oh yeah, so I don't know if I mentioned that when he went to go see them, went to go invite them, they said they were fans of his and they knew who he was. So they were like fans of his and they watched his YouTube channel. So they said that. So going back to when they're talking to when they're getting interviewed by the three of them, by the three of the men, these women. So they were like they kind of realized the hosts realized that they were very young and they were all in university as well, and they just came here for their like after university to meet up and like eat. Um, so then they basically asked like Chu Sung Hoon asked, "How old are your dads? Like, how old's your dads?" And then it was basically like 1 or 2 years younger than him. Oh, no, 1 or 2 years older than him. No, 2 or 3 years older than him, one of the dads. And he was like, "Oh my God, I could be your dad." So they were laughing and they're like calling him uncle. Not the girls, but the other guys were calling him uncle and like dad. Basically, you're old enough to be their dad. And like Chu Sung Hoon looked embarrassed, and he also looked like he had like a realization, sudden realization, like I'm old, kind of thing. So that was funny and interesting. And then what happened next? I'm just trying to recall. Okay, so I think that's where it kind of like ended with the girls, and they said bye to the girls, and then it was Daesung's turn, and he basically went to, they kind of like he was really nervous, as he's an introvert, and they kind of like picked out a couple on the bench, and they were like, oh, it looks when he moved off to go to talk to them, they were like, oh, they kind of look like they're having a fight. I hope they're not like breaking up with each other. It looks like she's hitting him. Maybe we should call like wrap the show right now and like abort this plan. So they were saying all this, Chu Sung Hoon and Kim Jae Jong, while their song was going to talk to the couple on the bench. So he got up to there and he was like totally bent over and like, "Hi, um, uh, I just wanted to ask if like we're filming a show over here, if it's okay, if we can interview you." And he was like totally like hunched over, like bowing, bowing, bowing. And they were like, "Oh yeah, we're like fans of yours, like we know who you are." So when they got there, basically they said that yeah, they're a couple, and the female, she was a lawyer, and the male, he was a security guard, and he worked for ADT, I believe, or ADP, security firm, and I think it's a big security firm in South Korea, company, or not firm. Well, I'm not sure, but it's a big security company in South Korea. So basically, they were like, "Oh, how long have you guys been together?" And they said they've been together for 6 months, 5 to 6 months, half a year. And they were like, "Oh, interesting." So that's like an interesting, like that's quite a long time. And they said, "Yeah, we're still getting to know each other." Going back, actually, the first couple that we talked about, they said that they were together. They'd been together for like about I think about like 3 months or something like that, or 3 months or 3 weeks or something like that. So it's like a really fresh relationship as well. So anyway, let's go back to this couple, this older couple. So the guy said he was 30, and I don't believe they asked the female how old she was. And then they kind of like Kim Jae Joong had an idea that he kind of like um floated to Daesung, like, why don't we, like, he kind of like sneakily was like, oh, like have you seen Kim Chu Sung Hoon's low kicks? Do you want to try it? And the guy reluctantly got up to try it because they were like, oh, you're a security guard. They were kind of like fluffing him up, like basically saying, you're a security guard, you work in the security business. Like, oh, he said he could do one type of martial art. He trained in one type of martial art as well. They were like, oh, yeah, you could definitely take it. And then they asked the, Chu Sung Hoon was like, yeah, you could definitely take it. And Chu Sung Hoon asked the girlfriend, like, what percentage of strength should I put into the kick? And then she said, oh, 40%, because they were saying, oh, like I did 20% to everyone else, like normally. And she was like, oh, yeah, he could probably take 40%. And then the boyfriend looked kind of pissed, kind of irritated, and was like, did we have a fight or something? And they were all laughing. And then basically he stood there and took it. So he kicked him at 40% strength, and he stayed upright. I thought he'd keel over, but he stayed upright, and he was in a lot of pain, as you could like tell from his face, but he took it. And then they kind of like they sat him down again, and then they talked about some other stuff which I can't remember, and then they basically got rid of that couple as well. And then it was the end, but in the end, they decided to play some games. So they played some games from like Squid Game, I believe. And I think these are just like Korean like school kid games, really. But yeah, they basically did these games, and it was red light, yellow, red light, green light. And then so they brought everyone back basically, and before that, they brought everyone back, all the people that they interviewed, and they said, let's play games together, these school kid games or Squid Game games. And then they basically were like, let's do, before that, they were like, we need 10 people. So they invited two of their security guards, and these security guards reluctantly came. So they were like, oh, let's do a low kick to one of the security guards. And then instead of that, Chu Sung Hoon said, you know what? Why don't you just do um a kick at 100% force on my leg, instead of doing like a low kick to me? Can you do 100% force kick onto my leg and just see if I can take it? And then the security guard reluctantly um went to kick Chu Sung Hoon at 100% of his force, and Chu Sung Hoon took it, and he was like, basically, he said, Chu Sung Hoon basically said to him, you better do 100%, 100% of your strength, otherwise I'm going to kick you with 100% of my strength if I don't feel like it's 100%. So I guess the guy did use 100% of his strength. So he kicked Chu Sung Hoon, and then Chu Sung Hoon was basically like, oh, that was his reaction, something like that. And it was basically like, you could hear it, the impact. It was like thump. That was my sound effect, like thump, like that. And that was me, for you guys not knowing what's going on, like, because you guys can't see me. I slapped my thigh really hard. So yeah, it was like a slap thigh kind of noise, but really loud, and also it sounded like bone crunching on hitting bone. Sounded like bone breaking actually. But yeah, so he got kicked, and he didn't fall over, but he was like, oh yeah, that was hard. And he kind of you could see that he felt it. And the security guard, looked happy with themselves basically. Then they went on to do the games. So they did red, like I said, red light, green light. And basically I think the guy from the first interview, the 21-year-old guy, who had a girlfriend, he won that. And believe, yeah, Choo Sung-hoon was chasing after him at the end, but he couldn't catch him. And then I think it was not Choo Sung-hoon. Yeah, Choo Sung-hoon and um Kim Jae Joong were chasing after him and they couldn't catch him. Um, and then the next game, I believe, was the skipping rope game. So they were like, you know, jump rope. So they were all jumping rope, and that was fun. I don't think there were any other games, but I just can't probably recall. If I've forgotten anything, comment below and let me know. Um, I don't think, yeah, Daesung was having some problems with the jump rope game because he was like, every time I'm like landing on my bent foot, my leg is like bending because of the pain of like the kick. And they were like, yeah, Chu Sung Hoon was like, yeah, it's gonna hurt for about 3 days. You're gonna feel that for 3 days. So I believe that was the end of the episode. Then they like all not sat down, they went to end the episode and they were just talking, the three of them, and he Daesung was like, "Is this how you end it?" Like, it's okay. I really enjoyed it. Like, they agreed to like meet up again. So Chu Sung Hoon Chu Sung Hoon was like, "Yeah, definitely, let's like meet up again and do something, even if it's for a little while. Like, you should definitely get out and do stuff." And he agreed, yeah, to meet him. So I think they will be collaborating on his YouTube channel pretty soon. That should be interesting. I really think that Kim Jae Joong should definitely collaborate on his channel too, Chu Sung Hoon's channel. I think they've got good chemistry as well on screen. And yeah, then he was just basically Daesung was like, "Is this have you got an outro? Like, how do you want to do this?" And they were basically like, "Yeah, this is it, the outro." We don't really make much of an effort. And then, the clip for the next episode came up, but I always click away from that because I don't want to see what happens next. I hate spoilers, so that's why I don't like look to see what's happening in the next episode. But obviously, I will be updating you guys on what happens in the next episode. And that was it. I enjoyed it. It was a really fun, like very like different episode. I love how different each of these episodes are of Try Choo-ry. It is very it's like refreshing, this show. And alongside, like I know I've said it many times before, but his YouTube channel is very like refreshing as well, like very different and very like I don't know what it is. A lot of people it's resonating with a lot of people. I think it's like the authenticity of it. Very authentic, very like light and very funny, very humorous, very um you know, it's great to watch uh like to cheer you up or like just for a laugh with friends or like family or just something like happy and positive um like after you watch like something serious or after you've watched the news or the world's getting everyone down these days. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world that's very heavy. So to watch something like this before you go to bed or like when you wake up in the morning or like after you know, have like something stressful happen or something like that, I just find it really like I love to watch his YouTube channel and try Chori like before bed usually because it's very like light and airy and you want to go to sleep like in a happy great mood. You don't want to go to sleep watching something like stressful and like deep and emotional or like the news or after a heavy day you just want to decompress. It's something great to decompress with, so I definitely would recommend this show even if you don't watch Korean TV. Like watch Physical 100 and then come back and watch this and his YouTube channel, Chu Sung Hoon's YouTube channel, and you will understand what I mean. It's like it's like a refreshing glass of cold water, you know, just brings you back to life with like a few laughs. So anyway, uh, I'd like you guys, if you can, to comment and let me know what you liked about this episode. If there's anything else you recommend or you want me to recap any Korean shows, let me know. Me and Mimi know, because we'll both be happy to do that together. Like I said, we will try and do Squid Games pretty soon, and we'll also be doing some more housewife stuff and some other Bravo TV shows. We'd also like to go back and like do like blast from the past episodes of like TV shows from the past, like from like the 2000s, like the early 2000s and stuff like that, because I do think some of those are pretty interesting. And we'll just do like a mishmash of like loads of other things that we find interesting or that we're watching. So if you guys have any recommendations, let us know. And again, we're on like all the social platforms. Follow us on there, and we're on YouTube too. So we're doing pretty well on YouTube. We just started, not pretty well, like as in I didn't think we both didn't think we'd get any views at all, and we've got some. So we're happy with that. We're happy with our slow but steady progress. So oh, also, if you haven't shared our video on your socials, please share our YouTube videos or our podcast episodes on like our Spotify podcast episodes or whatever platform you use to listen to our podcast. Share that with your followers and share that with your friends and family. Recommend us, and yeah, help us grow basically. So we will catch you really soon, and hopefully I'll be back with Mimi pretty soon. I will carry on doing these episodes of Choo-ry on one by one. So after each episode that I've watched, I think I'll do that with season 2 as well. Every episode I'll recap separately. I won't do a whole bunch. I think it's easier for me that way because I basically will remember more, because if I just watch it and then recap it straight away, I think that's the best way to do it. Because when I tried to do a whole bunch of them together, I wasn't really remembering a lot of the information. I did remember a lot of information, but not every like little bit of detail. And I didn't give you like my best thoughts on the episodes, because I watched them all at different times, and like you forget after a little while. So anyway, I say all that to say bye.